True healing starts from within before we can have a lasting effect on the outside. Seeing with the eyes of love is a power that we have. And for me, it's a primary skill that I practice in my breathwork trainings. We can have a week of training and at least a half a day is devoted to holy vision. I believe it is one of our greatest gifts as a breath worker or as a human being for that matter. With holy vision, I'm able to discriminate when I'm looking out at the world with the eyes of love or the eyes of fear. The eyes of fear will come in the form of judgments. And every judgment that we have that separates us from others has fear behind it. So one of the practices that we actually do in our training, and this often strikes terror into students, is we're going to sit down in a circle and be honest about what our judgments are. And we don't lay those judgments on other people. We're just aware. Oh, my judgments are going on all the time. My mind is there making a good judgment about Jim's background right now and maybe the color of his shirt and how big his nose, it's what our minds do. Now, there's nothing wrong with discriminating a door from a window. That's not a judgment. A judgment I'm talking about is a value judgment, good, bad, right, wrong. So what we do is we recognize the judgments that we have right there in that circle, and we go to find out what our fear is that has created that judgment. When you practice that, when you uncover the hidden fear, the jig is up. Then it's a choice. Do I want to hold on to that fear or not? And we get to the place of safety where we can now share with others. Oh, we don't like lay our judgments on people, but what we share with them is, I had a fear. I had a fear that your ability to speak with crowds and your charisma and your wonderful influence would outshine and pale my attempts, my measly attempts, in comparison. And so that has kept me a little bit distance from you. All right. The truth is, now, and then we go to the truth behind the fear. The truth is, I've always felt that deep source connection with you and knew that we were co-conspirators in this bringing breath to the world as our vehicle. And my intention is to turn up the accelerator on that. And even if we're not inspiring to get into trouble together or planning the new revolution, to know that you're always there by my side. All right. So I started out with judgment. I went to what my fear is behind it. And once I get that fear, I realize, oh, that's how I hold my breath. And that's what creates distance between me and another. Now imagine taking that skill into your life. And I mean, with anyone. Now, because I recognize the fear, I might have a fear of a terrorist. Now, it doesn't mean that I want to invite that person to brunch or that, but I don't go around all day afraid that someone's going to jump out of the alley and terrorize me. I recognize the fear within me is the fear within them. The fear within them is what's causing them to try to eradicate and eliminate anything that would expose their weakness or what they call their weakness. And now I can actually have compassion for everyone, even people who are doing things whose actions I do not approve of. I do not condone. But I am not painting horns and a tail on them. And so every aspect of my being, my physical, and breath work is so beautiful in this regard because it will put the spotlight on the physical. Oh, here's an area I've been holding my whole life, my knee. Well, what's the fear there? How can I bless it? It doesn't mean that immediately I'm going to run a marathon, but I have opened the doors to more healing. Emotions. What emotion am I resisting? Am I holding out? What thoughts am I judging myself for having? What spiritual aspect of myself is keeping me from wholeness? I teach in the Mideast, and something in a post really struck me. He talked about how this fear is passed on throughout life and continues warfare, atrocity, propaganda. Boy, that struck me because I do teach in the Mideast. And now I'm getting referrals to, say, work with the son of a businessman who has nothing to do with breath work and doesn't want to learn breath work. But I gave him to see the good in every person. And he was getting very paranoid, this individual. But that clicked for him. Yeah, I can do that. It doesn't mean I have to like them or invite them to brunch or anything, but I can see the good in each person. Now, we don't need a common enemy to bond with. This is what anthropologists used for years. They would find one tribe had an enemy and then say, oh, that's a bad tribe. And oh, you're our friend. We don't need an attack from Mars to bring us together as humans. We need the magnetism of love to come back home to source. We are missionaries of the breath. A missionary means we have a mission together to bring unity in spirit through the power of love. This is a daily practice. And it's no longer a nice thing. I think it's a required element of our change, our healing of the world. We're going to do one final little pass now. We're going to, once again, go to that ball of light energy at the base of our spine. We're going to inhale, bring it to the top of our head. We're going to exhale, bring it down to the base of the spine. Inhale, bring it to the top of the head. Exhale, bring it down to the base of the spine. Now, the next time we inhale, we bring it to the top of our head, and now we exhale, and we send that light energy, that cocoon, out across the planet. We send it all the way around the world to the other side of the world. And the exhale, and as we inhale, we bring it from the opposite side of the world all the way back up to the top of our head. Now, the next time, again, 3 times we're doing this, we're exhaling, we're sending a light like a tidal wave of love, light, and acceptance and healing to every sentient being on the planet, all the way to the other side of the world. And as we inhale, we're bringing it all the way up the back. We were given this power, and only we can exercise. Once again, exhale, send it all the way around. Feel it now, touching every sentient being on the planet. Feel it lighting up all the way around, coming back up to the top of our head. And then one final exhale down the front of our body. Inhale, back up to the top of our head. Thank Source for bringing us together in this holy mission.